ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That account, I believe, is real. I've watched it for a long time, and he says a lot of really provocative stuff there that has definitely caught my attention on many, many occasions. I've heard this briefing many times. Incredibly, incredibly sad, but probably a lot more than just what it looks like on the surface. If you don't really see what's going on here, this might not make sense.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are back once again looking into the wacky world of Wilcock. That's what I call it, because David Wilcock apparently lives in an alternate universe where he is Earth's greatest prophet and the father of free energy and anti-gravity, even though he can't show us anything, that works. But it's interesting. Today there is, or maybe yesterday, either yesterday or today, there was new breaking news that David Wilcock's shady, we're just going to call it a shady aerospace company, which we detailed here before, was sued for being an investment fraud scam and a Ponzi scheme. And the person suing them won default judgments against Stavati Aerospace, his shady aerospace company, which he's supposed to produce hover cars with somehow, even though they've never produced a single airplane, to my knowledge. No videos of airplanes that they've produced. And in the stunning court documents, the Ponzi scheme court documents, I'm calling them, it was revealed that David Wilcock's shady aerospace company's only income is a few $1,000s a month from a garbage company that rents that airplane hangar that he was showing off and so proud of. Apparently, it's filled with garbage dumpsters. They rent the hangar and they store their garbage dumpsters there. I don't know if there's garbage in them or they're just empty dumpsters. Either way, David Wilcock's shady aerospace company is literally in the dumpsters. And now there's new legal trouble for them because apparently they're being sued again. The shady aerospace company, of which David Wilcock is some sort of board member. I think they say he's supposed to be the director of advanced technology, the guy who's going to make hover cars, and they'll have a free energy engine. So you won't even need fuel for them. You won't even have to plug them in. If it sounds too good to be true, basic rule of life, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And David Wilcock famously promised more than 2 years ago, I think, that within a year, they would have a working prototype of their anti-gravity hover car, which would be powered by a free energy device. None of that happened. But, none of this is new. So now the shady aerospace company, of which David Wilcock is so proud of and a part of, is now in new hot water, being sued apparently by a vendor. Now, remember that in the past court documents, it's important that we look at this in a timeline. So recently, they lost default judgments against their company for being an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. That's what the court documents said, and they won default judgments. Take from that what you will. The person suing them won default judgments. Apparently, that person felt ripped off. And also in the court documents, essentially, officers of David Wilcock's shady aerospace company admitted that they were going to use new investors' money to pay off the old investors. That is literally the textbook definition of a Ponzi scheme. And why isn't David Wilcock addressing these issues? Shouldn't he say something about it instead of, spending an hour talking about some woman that was rude to him in line to get free spring water where he lives in Colorado? I would think if you're a board member of a company that was accused in court of being an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme, and your company lost, before you start bragging about hover cars and anti-gravity and how you're the director of advanced technology at this company, you might want to address why in court documents your company was called an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme, and you lost default judgments. I believe, and just to be fair to Stevati Aerospace and David Wilcock, that they're appealing that decision somehow. However, now there appears to be new legal problems for David Wilcock and his shady aerospace company, because now apparently Stevati Aerospace, his shady aerospace company, which was called a Ponzi scheme in court documents, which essentially admitted to being a Ponzi scheme in court documents. They were going to use new investor money to pay off the old investors. Okay, welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock, friends. If you're just joining us, we're going to be covering David Wilcock's new legal problems with his shady aerospace company. And by the way, this is not the first of David Wilcock's shady business dealings. He once ran a film company and took on investors and never produced a film. So I'd like to know what happened to all that money from investors. We've detailed his previous shady business dealings. Now he's the director of advanced technologies, and he's essentially claiming he's dumped millions of dollars into this company, which has never produced a single product for sale, never produced a single airplane or part of an airplane, at least not to my knowledge. And I've done extensive research trying to find this out. The only income we're sure they have is from a dumpster garbage company who's renting their airplane hangar to store dumpsters in. And now we get some stunning new revelations. This is from the newest court document involving David Wilcock's shady aerospace company. Upon information and belief, the defendant owner entered into an agreement, the general contract with the plaintiff, whereby it was agreed that the plaintiff would provide some of the materials and labor in the form of 6 deluge systems, together with the investigation of underground water, materials, and labor. So the agreed upon price for the materials and labor, this is a service company that David Wilcock's shady aerospace company agreed to a contract with to provide them with some kind of sprinkler services. And you might ask yourself, look, that's pretty hefty. They agreed to a contract of $273,835. That was the price for the services. The plaintiff, Davis Ulmer, that's the company that did the work, did furnish the materials and labor pursuant to the general contract and has become entitled to payment of that price. The amount unpaid to plaintiff is $106,745. So apparently they paid a portion of that, but they never paid the balance on completion of the work. This is for some kind of sprinkler systems. And you might ask yourself, if you run an aerospace company that has no income other than a garbage company paying you for renting your facility for a few $1,000s a month, why would you enter into a $275,000 contract for some kind of sprinkler work? Welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock, but they never paid $106,000, and therefore they were sued for that. On or about November 3rd, 2021, after the date of the furnishing of the materials and labor, and before 8 months from said date had elapsed, the plaintiff, caused to be July, filed at the Office of County Clerk of Niagara's mechanic lien. So now the company, apparently, they're trying to enforce a lien against the company in the amount of $106,745 in due form. The same were duly entered into and documented there. The mechanic's lien stated, among other things, the name and address of the liener, that would be Stavati Aerospace, the name and owner of the real property against whose interest the lien is claimed, and against the owner of, as far as known to the liener. So I think, I'm no lawyer, so take from this what you will, but my reading of this is that they're going to get a lien put against the property where David, remember that property where there was a big airplane hangar, which, by the way, they're renting to a garbage company? They're going to get a lien against that property in the amount, or they're seeking to enforce a lien against that property in the amount of $106,000 for an unpaid bill. Yeah, so interesting. David Wilcock's legal problems keep mounting, and I'm sure I'm unsure what the status of his divorce is. He's also recently divorced or in the middle of a divorce. He's claiming in his public YouTube videos that he's $1.4 million in debt. I guess he's going to make a new video begging his followers to pay this $106,745. And again, we've detailed here before in another court case of a secret space astronaut. It was revealed that David Wilcock made $2 million on his last course that he sold. That would be the anti-gravity free energy course. You remember that one where he said, take my course and you'll be able to do it too? It gets shadier and shadier with this guy. And part of me feels bad for him, but the other part of me thinks, what is he doing with his money? He's wasting millions of dollars investing in a shady aerospace company that's never produced a single product, but has been caught lying, claiming that they have wind tunnel contracts. They've been caught lying, claiming that they were developing laser weapon systems for the United States military. By the way, the military denied that they had any contracts with this company, and they were forced to take that off their website because they were using that website to solicit investors for money. And now they're claiming on their website that they have contracts for wind tunnels. And a fellow researcher, John, he did FOIA requests with the military and the labs involved, and all of them came back, there are no contracts. Now, remember, it's very problematic claiming that you have government contracts in place while you're soliciting public investors' money. And we've also detailed that there's a man named Bill McEwen, who is the second in charge of this company. He was involved in a lot of shady business dealings involving Amiga Incorporated. You can look that up. That's a whole show in and of itself. So we've got David Wilcock involved in this company with several shady individuals that have been involved in, let's just call them shady business dealings in the past. They're lying, according to FOIA requests, claiming they have wind tunnel contracts that they do not have. They've previously lied and said that they were developing laser weapons, and they weren't, at least not for the United States government like they claimed. They were recently sued for investment fraud and being a Ponzi scheme, and they lost. And now they're being sued for not paying some kind of sprinkler company. And again, why would you why would you agree to $300,000 of expenses if your only income was a few $1,000s from a garbage company? How are you paying this kind of money back? Are you just using investor money to pay for some kind of extravagant sprinkler system that you may or may not need? And by the way, I don't know the details. I'm just asking questions here. So it gets very shady the more that you look into this. And I'm left wondering if David Wilcock wasn't scammed himself. After all, this company admitted to essentially being a Ponzi scheme in court documents. They were going to use new investor money to pay off old investors. That's the technical definition of a Ponzi scheme. And, you know, this leaves me with other questions like where are the regulatory agencies? A company can just lie and say that they have government contracts when they don't, while they're soliciting public investor money to invest in their company. You know, they can lie and, you know, and say they're going to have a working hover car prototype within a year, again, while they're soliciting public investor funds. But hey, good for David Wilcock. He made $2 million teaching everybody the secrets of free energy and anti-gravity, and he said you'd be able to do it too. So far, I haven't found anybody that can make a free energy device after taking David Wilcock's course, and I haven't found anybody that could make a working anti-gravity engine after taking David Wilcock's course. So, and by the way, I'm aware, due to somebody that did put out the $333, that his course was largely cobbled together garbage from the internet. There was nothing original in it. So this is what you get when you give David Wilcock $333. You get nothing. You get David Wilcock's garbage, fake information, or cobbled together nonsense from the internet that is entirely worthless. But don't worry. Now David Wilcock wants you to give him $333 because he claims he's talking to the Archangel Michael, who, by the way, told him to take baths in his own urine so that he could get superpowers. The wacky world of Wilcock, it just keeps getting wackier and wackier. And occasionally somebody goes, why do you care, Stephen? It's like the worst soap opera I have ever watched in my life, and this guy just keeps getting wackier and wackier. But I'm real big on just trying to be a voice of reason, especially with people on the fence. So right now, David Wilcock is begging all of his, literally, I think, in my opinion, he's literally begging his audience to pay $333 for a new course. This one it's all sacred and secret information from the Archangel Michael, because everybody knows angels would love to give a new age guru who's been wrong about everything secret and sacred information, and then have him charge the other earthlings $333 for access to that secret or sacred information. It's absolutely ridiculous that this man is able to keep a straight face where, oh yeah, I'm talking to the Archangel Michael, told me to take baths in my own piss and I got superpowers. Can you display those superpowers? Well, no. Can you show us the hover car prototypes you said you'd have by now? Well, no. Can you show us a working demonstration of a free energy device? After all, if you're saying you know how to make a free energy device and then you're taking people's money, if you're not scamming people, you should be able to show us a free energy device that you have built since you know how to do this. Can you do that? Of course not. It gets shadier and shadier. And now David Wilcock essentially expects his followers to pay for his financial problems that may have been created because he wanted to have bragging rights of being the father of anti-gravity and working for a big aerospace company. He just forgets to tell his audience that that big aerospace company is very shady. And all they do is make pretty pictures of airplanes. They've never made an actual airplane. But if you take David Wilcock's free energy and anti-gravity course, he tells his followers while he's taking their $333 that the shady guy, Chris Beskar, that's running this shady aerospace company, made spaceships for the United States government. Hey, David Wilcock, can you prove that? Can you prove that Chris Beskar has made spaceships for the United States government? Because if you can't, I think you're going to have some problems in your near future. If you think you got problems now, they're just financial. We haven't gotten to the criminal parts yet. Because if you're taking money from people saying this is true and accurate information, and then you're lying to people about a man creating spaceships who's never even been able to create an airplane in 20 plus years, right? That might be problematic for you. But hey, he wants his stupid followers to give him another $2 million injection of money that he can get out of debt with. And David Wilcock is claiming he's in 1.4, well, him and his wife somehow, Him and his ex-wife are in $1.4 million worth of debt. And, you know, he's not even opening the bill collector messages, apparently, right? He's ignoring them. And he's claiming that he could go to prison, which I don't think we have debtor's prison in the United States. Maybe if you don't pay your IRS. Yeah, then you might be in a little bit of direct, you know, jeopardy of spending some time in prison. They always get their money, or they make you pay dearly for it. So I just think it's interesting. Now he's begging everybody to give him another $333 so he can make a few $1 million, I guess. Again, he just made a few $1 million. What did he do with that money? But here we go again. Now he wants a couple more $1 million from stupid people so that he could pay his taxes and his other debts. I guess this $100,000 will be part of what he's, you know, the begging bowl. He's putting the begging bowl out. Hey, pay that $100,000 for my shady aerospace company because we're getting sued right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And remember, he's got a history of this. What about the film company he started and took investors' money from? What happened to all that money? What about the shady charity that he started? What did he do with all that money? What did he do with the $2 million? What did he do with the money from the film company? What does this man do with all this money? It's ridiculous, but maybe my opinion on these money matters is skewed because I live a very simple, debt-free life. I live simple and cheap. That's how I've always been. I live well beneath my means so that I don't get into financial problems. And I would never think of expecting you, my audience, to pay for my financial failures. But welcome to David Wilcock. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. So before anybody pays this man for his so-called prophetic visions, I just want to review how terribly wrong he has been about his previous prophetic visions. Because leading up to 2012, he was saying all kinds of stuff was going to happen. And none of that happened. But now we're supposed to believe that he's getting new prophetic visions that come from the Archangel Michael. And you too can give him $333 for that sacred and secret information. Track record matters. And the test of a prophet is also a thing. If the prophet is wrong one time, he's not a prophet. And he's not in communication with divine sources. Track record matters. So this is fair use. This is a transformative work. Here's some previous videos of David Wilcock's prophetic visions about what's going to happen in 2012. And this video is simply titled Proof David Wilcock is a Fraud. You can search it out on YouTube.
Don't stop here. Go back to my website, divinecosmos.com. Look it up. Read all this stuff. This is just a tiny portion of what I've done. Yes, you have to buy the book. It's only $30 retail. You can get it for like $18 on Amazon.
You got to buy the book.
Divinecosmos.com. David's new website that was created in the hopes of helping you forget about his first website that had all the lies. But don't fret, because this website's full of lies also. You have little gems like, right now it's reached the point where I've heard that the people in the CIA, the Pentagon, and the other agencies are ready to take action against the financial cabal. November 2011. Not sad.
Yeah, the mass arrests. This is November 2011. He's predicting mass arrests. Remember, we reviewed in this video that we just watched in part 1 here that he's predicting mass arrests of the cabal again. How many times has he predicted the mass arrests of the cabal? An awful lot of times, I think.
Satisfied with that one? Well, then what about if you have been following this and certain other websites, then you have already heard the eyewitness testimony suggesting that thousands of conspirators in finance, media, defense, military, corporations, and government are about to be arrested.
So he did the mass arrests are coming in 2011. He did it in 2012. He's doing it again now in 2023. How many times can one man be wrong? What kind of a prophet is wrong this much? And remember, according to the biblical test of a prophet, if you are wrong one time, you're not a prophet and you're not from God. He's claiming he's from God now, and angels are communicating information to him. And he's already been wrong in his first of the Michael series books.
April 2012. Then there's gems like the greater story was that something big was about to happen either way. April 2013.
Oh, something big is about to happen. 2013.
Or the reason I seem to be getting by combining all the data in these very highly intense dreams with the equal intense insider data is something big is about to happen.
Something big is always about to happen.
December 2014. Still not satisfied? Well, what about on 12/21, we received remarkable high-level briefings about the takedown of the deep state now in progress.
Yeah. So he just said in 2023 in this video that he just released last week that there's a takedown of the deep state that is happening right now. He just said that last week, but he said it before in 2017. And guess what? Nothing happened in 2017. Nothing happened in 2011, 2012, and 2013 that he said would happen. He is the worst psychic on planet Earth.
December 2017. And also, there is widespread agreement among these insider sources that some sort of major visible action against the genocidal globalist entity is now impending.
How many times is he going to pull the dark cabal is about to be arrested thing? He just keeps pulling it over and over and over again. It's ridiculous, and he's wrong every time. And now he's pulling it again, claiming that they're getting arrested right now. And in the next 2 weeks, big things are going to happen.
September 2018.
So when Gariev transformed those salamander eggs with light and captured that genetic code on the photons, zapped it into the frog.
Oh, this is 2018, not
I
the
believe
2012.
That's what's happening to us right now. We're moving into this new energy zone. It's activating the planets. It's heating them up. It's making the molecules actually move faster.
No, it's not.
But it's also increasing the source field vibration, which is making us become more intelligent. So we're dealing now with the next wave that's coming in 2009. As we head into 2010, 2011, they're going to start happening every couple months, and then they're going to start happening
Big solar events every couple of months. None of this happened.
every couple weeks, and then they're going to start happening every couple days. By the time we get to 2012, we're going to be hitting new ones every hour. And
every hour. None of this happened. This is how wrong this man has been. You want to give this man $333 and he's claiming he's talking to goddamn angels? You deserve to get scammed out of your money. This man has been wrong about everything his entire career.
And towards the end, it's multiple times per second. Okay, now my readings have told me, for what it's worth, that some of us will be able
worth
to
nothing.
have ascended abilities. I mean, full on.
Yeah, here's where he promised us superpowers.
Shift happening. So that would be very cool, because what we're expecting after 2012 is a 100 times more harmonious utopian world where things like time travel, levitation, instant telepathy, instant healing, telekinesis are as common and as everyday as breathing.
Is that the Great Pyramid of Egypt?
Oh, and remember, he loves to grift off of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. But it's interesting that this man is now claiming that he talked to angels. Before, he was just doing psychic readings, and he claimed in the lead up to 2012, we would all get rainbow light bodies and superpowers. We'd be able to levitate and time travel. I don't know about you, but I missed the superpower part. I didn't get any superpowers in 2012. Let me know in the live chat if you got superpowers.
Actually has a timeline in it, and that timeline has 2012 as the most important year. 2012 is predicted as the year in which whatever the second coming of Christ is supposed to be will happen.
Okay, so he predicted the second coming of Christ would happen in 2012. That didn't happen. And again, this man is claiming to be a prophet speaking to angels, and angels are communicating to him. Could it be that it's not angels he's communicating with? Who is it more likely he's communicating with? Trickster, demonic entities that love to deceive people, or angels that never deceive people and never give people inaccurate information according to the scriptures? Angels don't communicate wrong information to people. Demons would.
When does the age of Aquarius come in? 2012. And that's been calculated based on constellations in the sky by mainstream astronomers. So look, things are not going to stay the way they are very much longer. The year 2012, if nothing else, represents a bifurcation point They
Oh,
split
bifurcation point, a
between
split.
the way that things have been and the way that things are going to be. They were known about long ago. And it's all part of this spontaneous evolution.
Oh, I love the
Man-
2012 hype that he was in the middle of. And he was making lots of money making all these predictions. And then 2012 came and none of the shit that he's talked about, none of it happened. None of it happened.
Is being led through at this time.
We didn't get the second coming of Christ. We didn't get any superpowers. Nothing happened on 2012.
It's going to be something that actually changes life as well. Then would this mean that the planet is experiencing a rise in its consciousness? That is
I didn't
exactly
experience
what
any
I
rise in
suggest, guys,
consciousness.
that once the truth comes out, it will be in the context, very likely, of these people having been arrested on a massive level.
2017. How many times is he pushing the mass arrests? He just pushed it again last week. We just saw 3-4 times he pushed the mass arrests. How many times can one prophet be wrong? But hey, get out your wallets, because now he's talking to angels that are telling him to take baths in his own piss to get superpowers. I thought we were just going to get the superpowers in 2012, and we'd see the second coming of Christ in 2012. None of that happened.
There's all kinds of logistics about how that's going to be done, when that's going to be done. It is a massive operation.
A massive operation to arrest all these people.
This is a very different thing. This is not an
Then there's the solar flash that never happened.
killing event. This is an earth birthing event. And they're very clear on that when you read these ancient prophecies. That the earth has to go through its worst point.
Man,
It
it's
has
so
to go
ridiculous.
through the dark night of the soul. And we're having that.
Oh, and then there was the 3 days of darkness. Remember, the internet was supposed to be off for 3 days while they were doing the mass arrests. But don't worry.
That now. It's very.
That didn't happen
we go
either.
Through the worst point, there is this event. And it's so amazing.
We are in the midst of an overthrow of the deep state.
The deep- Yeah, oh, and the rest is some kind of stupid meditation. So that'll do it for that video. But it's enough. Listen, it's important that we recognize before we give any spiritual guru our money that track record matters. And these things are important. Estimate of the situation is here with a kind and generous $10. Says David Wilcock, a tale of absolute shamelessness, opportunism, and extreme narcissism that has spawned the enormously profitable fringe community of the pseudo-spiritual. Coming soon. Well, thank you very much, Estimate of the Situation, for your kindness, generosity, and support. And we appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. And of course, thank you very much. We thank you. Thank you so much for helping us to praise the cash. Thank you. All right. Now, when we last left off David Wilcock's latest video, let me shut some things down here. So interestingly, I'm waiting on an update from this other researcher, John Christian Spadavicia, because apparently somehow there are new revelations to come about Stavati Aerospace. So I'm waiting to hear back from him if he should send me a message during the live broadcast here. We'll try to bring you that update. And we want to take a moment to recognize all those in the live chat here for the wacky world of Wilcock. We're going to get into his latest video. We're going to finish it. And we've got just an hour, I think. Yeah, we've got less than an hour. We've got 50 minutes. See, I front loaded the last one because I don't want to be here too long today. For those unaware who didn't see me crying on Twitter today, Windows did an unscheduled, did some kind of update on my main video editing computer and borked my whole computer. It will not start no matter what I do. And some of you may be aware that, I'm a big computer guy. I can't fix it. I'm going to have to, I did a full complete backup today. I'm going to have to wipe the whole thing and start over, reinstall all my apps. Thanks, Microsoft. So I don't want to be here too long today. I always have this huge level of anxiety when my main computer is down and I can't really think about anything or do anything until I fix that. But I'm here to spend some quality time in the wacky world of Wilcock. We were right there. Oh, so before we begin with this, I just want to take a moment to recognize and understand that this man has been wrong about virtually everything he's ever said. So when he claims that he has some kind of secret, sacred information that you should pay him money for, I think everybody should think twice. Everybody should really think twice about giving this man any more money. After all, he's been wrong about so many of his predictions, but now we're supposed to believe he's got accurate predictions because they came from an angel, but he's already been wrong in the first book. So is he really talking to the Archangel Michael? And again, would the Archangel Michael give this man information, secret and sacred information and prophetic visions, and then go, hey, Go charge $333 for what I'm telling you, David Wilcock. It makes no sense.
You're seeing countries in Africa push back, kicking out the French, for example, in Niger. All these things are happening right in front of our eyes. And if you think this is all going to be
comments and questions while we're listening
November
here.
2024, you're totally mistaken. The things that are happening with Israel right now, they could escalate very, very quickly. It could get really intense. But I believe that the reason why this is happening at all is because the deep state knows that they're weeks, maybe months.
It wouldn't start in safe mode at all.
Really
I tried command line, rebuilding the MBR and the boot. I tried everything.
There's lots of comms coming out, and I'll do more of that in my next show about where this is going and how fast things could be getting crazy. Tucker Carlson's mentioned it. Elon Musk has mentioned it. Elon just recently called for the equivalent of tribunals. He didn't use that word, but basically the same thing.
Exactly. Nobody demands accountability. Thanks for being a member, Sandra.
We could get through this without tribunals. There's no moves they could make.
The tribunals
that would stop this from happening because too many people are awake. And we know they're going to fight the whole.
And just a note on the tribunals. He has said that there's going to be military tribunals after all the dark cabal forces get arrested. No, people have constitutional rights. They would get tried in a regular court. They wouldn't get tried in a military tribunal. But I don't know where he gets this stuff from. That wouldn't happen. If a civilian gets arrested, they get tried in a civilian or criminal court, not in a military court. He keeps saying tribunals. That means military court.
Time. We know they're not going to go willingly into the night, but we don't want to kill anybody either. That's another thing.
We don't want to kill anybody. Don't kill them.
About fair due process. The psychopath wants you to descend to their level. The woman at the water fountain wanted me to insult her breasts when she said, "Do you want to fill my jugs?" She wanted me to make a crass sexual comment because then I would have proven to her that I was the person she accused.
He spent an hour talking about a rude lady at the spring.
I never touched those, or whatever. Then yeah, I've just proven to her, yeah, so I'm right. You're a scumbag. I was right the whole time. I should have been yelling at you. So what you want to do is not return anger for anger, not return hatred for hatred, but counterbalance the negativity with.
Yeah, he's saying don't return hatred for hatred. He called this woman a psychopath and a gorilla, a silverback gorilla and a psychopath. This is some new age spiritual guru, right? He's just ridiculous. 50,000 bees. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and helping us to praise the cash. He says, no Linux software supports streaming. Well, my preferred Linux is Linux Mint, and Linux Mint has problems with StreamYard. So, and the real issue is I need Windows for video editing and for music software. Some of it does work in Wine under Linux, but some of it doesn't. And but I'm getting to my wit's end. I may go back to trying. I tried for several months before to just use Linux and never use Windows. And I had to learn alternative graphic software and other stuff. I use OpenOffice for all my writing, so that's covered under Linux. But the video editing and the music software has been a problem. It's slowly resolving itself. The only other thing I use Windows for is what I call Wintendo. I use it for games. But now Steam supports Linux on most of the newer games coming out, so that's not an issue. I'm really hopeful that eventually I could just kiss Windows goodbye. I've tried to migrate to Mac, and I thought Mac was horrific. I just couldn't stand the way that Mac is kind of like Linux. It's Unix based, but it's so locked down. You can't change anything, and you got to pay for every single piece of software. And maybe I should try that again. I don't know. We're going to try to do something about our reliance on this. Microsoft is garbage. That's what I'm going to say. Microsoft is literal hot garbage. And, you know, today's a perfect example. I woke up at 9 a.m. I was at my computer by 10 a.m. and it had rebooted and had a problem booting, and then nothing worked. You know, that system repair didn't work. Trying to roll it back didn't work. Trying to uninstall the updates didn't work. I'm familiar with Windows command line enough that I try to recreate the master boot record or fix the corrupted boot record with command line commands. Nothing works so far. It won't boot. Then I try to reinstall Windows, but I was using a very old version of Windows 10 that I happened to just have on a thumb drive, and it didn't see the hard drives. So I still don't know how or if I'm going to be able to fix this PC. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll rip the graphics card out of it and throw it in another PC. That's all I could do. I don't know what to do. But I was at it from 10 a.m. till right before showtime trying to fix this thing. And, you know, Microsoft should have to pay you for that lost time. But because of the EULAs, hey, we're not responsible if they did it. The computer was working fine. They did an update without my knowledge or consent. I wasn't aware. It borked the whole computer.
With acceptance and love. And
thanks for your
this
kindness.
is actually a very, very important practice. We
And
all
look at
have
that.
to
UFO
learn
Shane became a
how to
member.
not be reactive.
Thank
we all
you.
have to learn how to wait a second, you know, cool it down.
Cool it down. Then make a live stream and call the person that pissed you off a gorilla and a psychopath. And hey, in case you weren't aware, if you become a member during a live stream, we thank you. So thank you, UFO Shane, who just became a YouTube member. And by the way, we doubled our YouTube members this month. I think we went from 60 to 125 members this month. So I want to thank each and every one of you, especially Zizix, who bought like 60 memberships. Very kind of all of you guys. We're praising the cash like crazy this month.
Take a chill pill, you know, relax a little bit.
Take a chill pill.
When the woman yelled at me the second time,
he's still complaining about this woman. It's been like an hour. He did a half hour about crop circles. Then he started complaining about this woman. We're up to an hour and 35 minutes. He complained about a woman being rude to him in line for an hour on a public live stream. Then he says, don't return hatred with hatred. He's making a live stream calling her a gorilla and a psychopath.
It's emotional reaction. I got adrenaline. I'm all worked up. And then I just said, no, you know, I'm not gonna.
They are kind of hypnotic, aren't they?
I don't need violence in my life. I don't want to argue with this woman. She's a great looking woman. Why is she mad at me? Does she think I'm ugly? Yeah, okay. Maybe I got shitty hair, whatever. Fine. There's no reason to be mad at her. There was no address in me.
Yeah.
I want to be angry at somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what's actually happening to us as a planet. We're running through
Back
this karma
away from the
over
melons,
and over again.
yeah.
We keep running the same karma over and over again until
he's rehashing the golden
you know
rule.
what? I'm just not angry anymore.
I use
So
10
what we
right
see
now
is
on all my I have
group is
3 or
saying,
4
okay,
Windows
you're black,
PCs.
then we're going to constantly reward you for thinking that whites are terrible. We're going to keep giving you all this information that says, oh my God, you know, look at this and oppressor class and look at how the zoning and oh my God, you know, this is racist, that is racist. Everybody's
I agree,
racist,
B. Baker.
everybody's a terrorist, everybody's evil. It's really not
We'll take a
true.
moment here.
The whole point in this.
He's just rambling. We'll take a moment here. I fix customers' computers. And when I can't fix my own computer, it's embarrassing. And, I spent a great deal of time today. Like I said, I went to the command line and I think that the boot record is so corrupted that it doesn't see the hard drives or something. But I tried to rebuild the boot record and fix corrupted storage files. I booted to Linux and I went through the hard drive, deleting anything non-essential or something that may be problematic. Maybe the Windows virus detection is seeing something or whatever. No, it wouldn't go. And this is very frustrating to me. I will work on it more after the show. But I may indeed just install Linux and start on my migration and forget it. I'm sick of these issues and these problems. I can always just keep one PC around to do the video editing on that runs Windows and disconnect it from the internet, because that's where the problems start. Wreaking Havoc has been a member for 3 months and says you should find that woman and bring her on. I'd love to hear her side, if she's even real. That's a good idea, Wreaking Havoc. And thanks for being a member for 3 months. Praise the cash. I got your money 3 months in a row, Wreaking Havoc. And by the way, I'm going to send you a message about coming here in person. You're likely going to be my first in-person guest and my first person we're hooking up to the polygraph. Yeah, and MK Ultra says, I legitimately believe none of this happened, and he's talking about a vague situation between him and his ex. A lot of people have said that he was talking about his ex. Could be.
To make everybody kind of throw up at the same time. That's what we're going through, is a collective vomiting.
Oh, we're
disgusting.
Going through a collective vomiting.
That's what this is about. And the purpose, again, is to run it out of you. You don't feel angry anymore. When somebody provokes you, you don't feel the same way anymore. And again, such an important part of this is to learn
life lessons from David Wilcock.
The psychopath is giving you 3/4 of what you want. Okay, we're going to paint everything rainbow colors. Everybody wears pink. Mandatory homosexuality enforced by.
Now he's saying that all gay people are psychopaths, essentially, right? Or is it me? And maybe that's just my interpretation.
Law. You get up on stage.
At first, he said there's no racism, so black people shouldn't be at all upset with white people. Essentially, that's what he said. Now he's saying that the gay people want everything painted rainbow and they're psychopaths. Great spiritual guru, right?
Stuff,
very welcoming and forgiving.
Torture you. It could get to that point. It could.
They're going to force us all to be gay. I don't know. I know a lot of gay dudes, and no gay dude I know ever forced me to like suck a dick or any, take one in the ass. I maybe it's just my gay friends that don't force the gayness on me. But according to David Wilcock, they're going to be forcing you to do gay things. And why is he's always talking about gays and gay people and being gay and this is gay and that's gay. It's a real bad look for somebody that's pretending to be a spiritual guru. And geez, I have to, I'm gonna grab that for the next for the next wacky world of Wilcock.
Could get to that point because I grew up in something like that. As I talked about in my previous videos, this was the big shock of the last 2 years, is realizing, wow, I actually was abused in a secret organization, and I had horrible, horrible torture happen to me. But they did it so well that it wasn't until I was 50 years old that the memory started to crack open. So part of the last 2 years has just been I've been incredibly traumatized.
He's traumatized because apparently reptilian aliens, what was it? Reptilian aliens, and they made him make a banana sandwich or something, right? Whatever that means. And he was tortured and he was killed and brought back to life. And oh my God, it gets wacky. There's some more sniffing.
Is that we learned our lesson as a planet. And this is just emphatically delivered in all 7 books. I went through every single line. It's got a little highlighted number at the beginning, so it's like a verse number. The whole entire book has that. It took so much time. Every morning I'd get up at 4:30 a.m.
He worked so hard on his nonsensical ramblings from the Archangel Michael, but he was already wrong in book 1. Therefore, according to almost any minister you ask, Christian minister, according to almost any Catholic priest that you ask, according to almost any religious scholar that you ask, if a person is claiming they're in communication with divine sources like God or the Archangel Michael, if they are wrong even one time, they are not in communication with divine sources, because divine sources would not give you false, fake information. And apparently, whatever entity he's channeling has given him lots of fake information, because there are things that are wrong in the very first book, which I was gifted.
Not at this desk, but the desk right over there. And I'd get up at 4:30 a.m. and I'd be cranking on this stuff, just absolutely nonstop.
He's worked so hard on it. Give me $333.
Time they're predicting the future.
He says they're predicting the future. He can't prove it.
So I'm going to need to do way more because I've only really just started this. But then what also happened was that immediately after, so before I'd even finished the books, I went out to Las Vegas and had a very important meeting for the company. Because again, we're trying to build hover cars, power plants. The technology that we're developing was funded by your orders, just like what I now have with Michael Prophecies.
Okay, so you people who bought his last course were funding his aerospace company, which is getting sued for being an investment fraud and a scam and a Ponzi scheme and losing. And he's using your money to build this technology based on somebody else's patents that he has no legal or commercial right to develop or use. Just so we're clear here.
Now, each person has a choice as to what they want to do with their money, if you get it. And I believe a lot of us, everybody is basically going to be going through a life that's equivalent to living like a billionaire, because billionaires don't have hover cars. Billionaires can't go to the moon. Billionaires can't hang out in...
You're going to be able to go to the moon with this hover car. That's a new one, right? You're going to live like a billionaire if you give him $333. This is like a bad televangelist doing prosperity gospel. Sow that seed, right?
Zero gravity unless they take one of these little flights. You know, you can't meet other humans from other planets. You can't pay for that. You can't pay to see an extraterrestrial city.
Now you're going to be able to visit alien star systems with this hover car. I mean, it's getting real thick.
You can't pay to go visit ruins from another planet. Those things sound really awesome, don't they? Wouldn't it be fun to go to space? Do you want to just stay here on Earth for the rest of your life? No. Well, we're actually doing that. I wasn't confident that this was going to happen on its own. And so when I have money in the account, it's like I want that money to go towards making sure that all of us are going to see this in our lifetimes. Not
this poor guy apparently gave 1.4 million, if we believe him, and he's been caught lying so many times, I don't know that I do, but according to his accounts here, he gave $1.4 million to a company that's been accused of being a Ponzi scheme scam in court documents and lost.
Not in 100 years, not in 50 years, not, oh, well, you know, David had his poetic death, but before he died, he set the stage for this wonderful thing that happened after he was gone. I don't want to wait for that. I don't want to have to reincarnate to enjoy what I'm working on. I want to get it done now. I want to build power plants now.
And he needs your money to do this.
$5,000 one time. You have a device that runs your house with electricity for the rest of your life, and you never need to buy anything again.
Okay, so now he's promising that he's going to develop a free energy device that you could buy for $5,000 that will run your home's energy for the rest of your life. That old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Where are the prototypes? Why are you promising this while your company is soliciting public investor money?
Nobody can
I think the SEC should be involved at this point.
Control you. Nobody can turn your lights out. Nobody can starve you. Nobody can make you hungry. Nobody can bring you to desperation. You can't be affected by a mass blackout. You always have power. You're always safe.
You just give him money and you'll always be safe. Give me $333 and you'll always be safe. This is an appeal to desperate, vulnerable people who are scared. And you know, look, it's a scary world right now. Look at the situation in the Middle East. That could erupt into World War III really easily. So the fact that he's, appealing to scared, vulnerable people, just give me your money and everything will be okay. It's pretty shady.
And essentially, when you have that in a hover car, you become a portable ecosystem. You bring the energy with you to where you go, and it would be very easy to live anywhere you want.
Because, you can live anywhere you want.
The car is going to have a cooktop. And it's going to have all the things that you need.
Oh, it's going to be a camper. There'll be a cooktop in your hover car.
Well. So this is how I felt when I had money. I felt that I had a civic responsibility to spend that money for the greater good. And I worked so hard on that
And they wasted over $100,000 on a sprinkler system, apparently, or perhaps money from David Wilcock.
Got myself in tax trouble because I wanted all my money to go there. And then I just kind of assumed, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Well, no. Then the universe says, David, you got to spend the next 2 years doing nothing but writing books, which I didn't even want to do anymore. It's not profitable. But the reason I did it again is because
It's not profitable while he's selling his 7 books for $333 to like hundreds, perhaps thousands or tens of thousands of stupid people. He's saying it's not profitable.
they're telling us we're not going to have a pole shift, we're not going to have a solar flash. Instead, they
It's
make it
crazy.
very, very clear you're going to see a coup over the military-industrial complex. Holy crap, that sounds really scary. But that's actually what's happening. From within the militaries of this country and other countries, a resistance has been
He's too
brewing
sexy
many,
for
many
his shirt.
years. It started
Anna
in parts of
Louisa,
Russia
and thanks
back
for
in the
being a member.
1700s. America's had it since the 1950s at least.
That's a
And
good idea, Chuck Bam.
in the books, in all 7 books, I very decisively show how human extraterrestrials are causing this.
Maybe she
But
left
again,
because he couldn't make her
each of the
come.
books, it's only
Sandra
maybe the first
McDonald.
120 pages that I wrote.
Yeah, look,
And the whole rest of it,
that's some advice from one man to all the men in the audience. If you want to keep a woman happy, and I think the ladies will agree with me, and pardon me for being crude here, you got to make her come. You got to. Whatever it takes, right? Do whatever you got to do. But a great deal of women leave because they're not satisfied in the bedroom. I don't know if that's the case with Mr. Wilcock, but
it's just messages from Michael. So
oh yeah, he's
it's
getting
just a
messages from
staggering
angels.
amount of stuff. And I'm not saying you're going to have to read all of it. So what I've done is I said, well, nobody's buying the books. I'm terribly broke.
Nobody's buying his books and he's broke. So now he's going to make videos about those books that nobody's buying, because that's a smart business move. When you're failing at anything, just double down, put more time and more energy in.
I can never make enough money to survive. I barely am making enough money to pay my tax payments.
He can barely make enough money to survive. Remember, 2 years ago, according to court testimony, he made $2 million. And he's sitting here on a public live stream telling working people that he can barely make enough money to survive. Talk about a spoiled, this guy's got spoiled rich kid syndrome.
From old taxes. So, okay, I got to get back into doing videos again. I can't just sell books. So what I ended up doing is, and it was just strange how it happened, but immediately after I finished all 7 books, Chris Beskar came over to my house.
Chris Beskar is the guy who runs the shady aerospace company, who was sued for running an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme and lost. Chris Beskar is also the person that David Wilcock claims built spaceships for the United States government in the secret space program. So, hey, give me $333 because I made some new videos with a guy who's running the shady aerospace company, which has been called an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme in court documents, and they lost that court case by default judgment.
And we did a whole course, and that's called Sacred Science of the Michael Prophecies.
Yeah, so that's who you want to buy a course off of, a guy who was accused in court documents of running a Ponzi scheme and lost. Isn't somebody that runs a Ponzi scheme, wouldn't it be fair to call somebody that ran a Ponzi scheme or an investment scam a scammer? You really want to buy a course from David Wilcock and his shady friend, who's right now being sued for unpaid bills?
So what I did is I went through 11 shows. We have an introduction. It starts with the introduction. That's episode number 1.
This is a hell of a
And then the
pitch. This
final
whole
episode
video is a
called
pitch now.
Desperately Seeking Sasquatch. And we actually did a whole thing on the Bigfoot and how it
I
might
think you're
actually
right,
be
Sacha.
the Heinz 57 extraterrestrials talked about by Sergeant Clifford Stone.
Oh, now he's going to
in the
cite
original
Clifford
Disclosure
Stone.
Project of
Wackadoo.
2001. I met Sergeant Stone in person. And he described being on an ET craft
Oh, could
retrieval
be,
program
Sacha. Yeah.
where they had a field manual that showed
Cape
what the
fear is
57 different
prison
species
fear.
are
Uh-oh.
that appear in UFOs.
Uh-oh.
And most of them all look like human beings of one form or another. Their faces might be
They
different.
did. A banana
They're human.
sandwich, yes.
And one of the species in the 57 was a Sasquatch-looking being, like Chewbacca.
Oh, Bottled Water is
Long
going to
hair.
write a BS book to make some
So,
grifter money.
In the Michael Prophecies books, I took all of these things that I had really needed to write about for
Could
many
be
years. and
soil
finally did that.
Alpin
And I just
900
needed 2 years to
AD.
do it.
Could be.
So I wrote about, for example, all the human ET stories of Saint Germain, all the stuff from the Bible, and all of the different stuff from the 1950s, where multiple cases of human ET
He does look like
contact
he's
occurred.
losing it. Well, he's under a lot of
Astonishing
financial
prophecies.
pressure.
Like, for example, George Hunt Williamson, was talking about the idea that we were going to be drifting into a galactic cloud of energy that would transform our solar system. And he was saying this in 1956.
And none of that happened.
Because ETs were telling him. ETs were telling him this was going to happen. Well, I've proven it with the science.
Maybe he's making hover cars out of the dumpsters. Yeah, they're going to be campers too. You'll be able to go camping in it, Randy.
Beings are telling us that Christ's initiative worked.
Extra fish smell. Oh my God, it's so bizarre.
Go through rapture or
hey, Billy Hicks is here. Welcome, Billy Hicks. What's up, everyone? She says.
Michael is telling us that our whole planet has learned these lessons enough that we will be preserved.
I didn't look,
will be okay.
Billy, but I'll check.
I'll
check into that.
Nothing that these people are going to do is going to destroy the planet. They can try anything they want. You're fighting against a multidimensional consciousness. You're literally like a gnat compared to an archangel. You're a gnat.
You're a gnat.
Sorry, I don't mean to insult anybody, but you don't have let's just say, well, no, you're a perfect creation of God, right? You're going to reunite with the Creator, and you have about the same level of power against an archangel as a gnat would. They are the rulers of our reality. They are the
rulers of our reality. And here it is. These are Billy, I don't think that I did get it. It's truthseekershow@gmail.com. I don't think that I did get one from you. At least not today. Did you send that today, or when did you send that? Let me look back a ways. We read them when they come in every day. I don't see one from you. At least I don't think so. So you might want to check again with that. Sorry for the hassles. The last two were from CS and Wreaking Havoc and Maria. But thanks for trying. All right, let's continue here.
That's it, folks. It's positive. It's a positive universe that is here to teach you to be more loving, and you're going to get that through karma. And whether you...
And you're going to get that, yeah. He'll teach you to be more loving as he's calling people psychopaths for being rude to him in line.
Understand it or not, you're still going to smash your head open. If you do enough bad stuff, you will have that car crash, and you will die. The stuff that woman was doing to me, she may not realize it, but she just dialed in some very, very bad negativity in her life.
She's going to.
You can't even get it all once. You need to get it through multiple.
So ridiculous. So if you're rude to somebody in line, you're going to get in a car crash and die. Somebody was rude to me. She's going to get in a car crash and die. It's so ridiculous.
I mean, she destroyed me for several days. I was like, whoa.
She destroyed him for several days by being rude. Oh, that looks like his O face. That's gross.
I can't even believe this happened. Like, what did I do? And the answer is no, you didn't do anything. That's just the way she is. She did this to you. She did this to the next guy. She's going to do it at the grocery store. She's going to do it at the gas station. She's going to do it at the bank.
I don't know.
And she's going to do it at the florist.
I'll check it. I'll check again, but I don't see it. What name did you send it under? Is it under your name in the live chat, Billy Hicks? Because several days ago, I'm looking as far back as September, and I don't see anything from you. So I apologize if it didn't go through or whatever happened, but thank you for your kindness anyway and generosity and support. Maybe you can check with your PayPal, but I don't see anything, but thank you.
As she's picking up the flower order that she got because somebody hadn't figured this out yet. Look, everybody
he was destroyed by this
to the
woman.
Right place. Everybody is going to get back to the oneness, but right now we're under examination like never before. And the
Make it a billboard,
is about
Conehead.
Can you forgive the people who have hurt you in your life? And so what Michael is saying is
fusion. I'm sorry to hear that.
By not having mass riots, by not creating a civilization collapse, but by responsibly giving these people the respect they will give us.
MK Ultra is rude to people constantly, and his life is fantastic.
Giving them the respect of fair justice, not vigilante mob justice.
This is low-hanging fruit, I have to admit.
Show the higher forces that we are ready, that we can all graduate. Michael says that we will graduate, that we've already made the grade.
Seems like it.
And basically the last stage left is that we have to actually publicly allow these arrests to happen and be known for what they are. And
the mass arrests.
Very, very close.
It's very close.
You're already seeing everything close in on Biden. The whole thing could happen as a result of that. And
remember, we just showed that he did the grift of the mass arrests are coming like 4 or 5 times already. And those are just the examples. I'm sure he's done it more. He constantly was talking about mass arrests are coming. Mass arrests are coming. Now he's saying in this video that the mass arrests are going to happen within the next 2 weeks.
A few other little things, and it's not going to be as difficult as you think. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to make everybody scared.
It doesn't have to be
And I
make
think
you
it's
scared.
very, very
yeah.
I actually expect that the next few weeks are civilization defining like nothing we've seen in any.
The next 2 weeks. We're already a week in
What Michael is saying
from
is
when he said 2 weeks.
expect arrests. Expect the powers are going to go out.
Expect
that
the
there might be
powers
an
going
economic
out and
collapse for a while,
arrests in the
and we're
next
already
week,
seeing
friends.
Temporarily, it could
All this has to happen in the next week and a couple of days, according to him. It'll happen in 2 weeks.
get much worse. So there's lots of messages in there about prepping, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the guy who's using like 5-year-old firewood that came with his house and could not start a fire with 5-year-old firewood is going to teach you how to survive a grid down event. Remember that? And he couldn't get his generator started.
Now, again, Chris Beskar is an insider.
He's not an insider. According to court documents, he's running a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam.
Co-CEO of Stavati Aerospace, and throughout all 7 of these books, Michael's talking about our company.
Why would the Archangel Michael talk about a shady, scammy company that was running an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme that is constantly lying? Why would an angel talk about a company that's constantly lying to people? Remember, they lied and said they had the contracts for the wind tunnels. They lied and said they were developing laser weapons for the military. David Wilcock lied and said they'd have a working hovercar prototype in a year, more than 2 years ago. Why would an angel be praising a company that's lying to people? I don't believe that an angel would do that. But, you know, the basic logic escapes David Wilcock somehow.
I've had people tell me, oh, you know, David, we think that you're sold out to the military. You sold out to the machine. Well, if I sold out to the military, then why will nobody give us money up until now?
Nobody will give them money. Their only income is from a dumpster garbage company.
If I sold out to the military, then why have I had to finance this company myself? And why am I having to pay for things like electric substations? And
he's claiming he's financing that entire company himself.
And fixing pipes in the floor. You know, why am I having to use my money to uphold a military facility if the military is coddling me? They're not. You know, this is sink or...
Well, you're claiming that you got wind tunnel contracts, but that researcher John did public FOIA requests, and you're lying about that. You don't have wind tunnel contracts with the government or those big prestigious labs, according to FOIA documents.
Swim, and if anything, there's incredible amounts of proof that the deep state has been aggressively interfering with what I'm doing and does not want it to succeed.
Yeah, it's not that you're running an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. It's that the deep state is interfering with you guys. Your company hasn't produced a single airplane in 20 plus years of being in operation. What the hell kind of aerospace company that claims they manufacture airplanes can't manage to put one airplane together in 20 plus years? But you're gonna bring us hover cars with free energy devices. Sure you are. You'll even be able to go camping in it. It's going to have a cooktop, friends.
Oh, and so we've had 20, 30, 40 different deals that we got really close to the front line. We got really close to the
just waiting for his lights to get cut off.
And then boom, there's a runaway bride once again. That's just what's been happening. And you have to understand the reason why is that they don't like us. They don't like the idea that you don't have to pay for energy anymore. They don't like the idea of the amount of freedom that you have with a hover car. They want you trapped in one little place with a car that only has enough range to get you a short distance. And they don't want you traveling. They only want you. They've already said it publicly. They only want
Billy Hicks, if it was sent under a different name, put the amount. Just type the amount that you sent. If it was one of these, it might be under a different name. I'll check again. I hate when this kind of stuff happens. I want to be able to properly thank people. But thank you, Billy Hicks.
You're flying like once a year. If you have a hover car, you're going 250 miles an hour everywhere you go. That's the same as a commercial air flight. So however long you would take when you drive to the airport and you got to wait all that time, and then eventually you get on your plane, and then eventually...
Again, pie in the sky. Oh, you'll never have to wait in an airplane again, in an airline again. Oh, boy, I'm getting great at doing these stops here. You know, and here's another thing. Have they even talked to the FAA? What if they did create some kind of hover car that could go 250 miles an hour? and people could fly anywhere they want. Like, what are the laws about that? You can't just fly anywhere you want without a pilot's license. Have they looked into that?
After God knows how long, you finally take off. Then you take this flight and then you land. Well, imagine if all that stuff was gone. You just go into your garage, you fire it up, you take your trip, and now you're making a 250-mile-an-hour flight to wherever you're going. The whole world is available to you because it has enough power that you can go where you want. So that's what I did when I had my money. But now what I've done is, okay, all 7 books talk about this company. There's tons and tons of prophecies. It appears that these ETs are using me and they're using this company to make sure that we have this technology.
Oh, sure. We got to
So
make
since
sure.
Chris Beskar's the CEO of the company, it became clear, like, well, let's bring him in and let's go through this massive review of what Michael said. And that turned into Sacred Science of the Michael Prophecies. So I counted it's almost 700 slides throughout all the show. So it's a huge amount of information. They're all loaded up with beautiful motion graphics. And I have not increased the price, even though now what happens is you get all 7 of the books. You get this 11-part Sacred Science of Michael Prophecies course, which is basically all of the best David Wilcock stuff all put together in one. And over the coming weeks, I'm going to do another course where I run through each of the 7 books. So if you don't read them,
if you don't read them, you can watch videos and still get it. Oh, great. Oh, and by the way, this other researcher, John Christian Spadavecchia, has a message for me, and I'm going to read this to you. He says, today I spoke with, let's say, an alleged anonymous Stevati shareholder. The investor advised me that he is a shareholder. I asked how many shares he owns, to which he replied he does not know. I asked how much capital he invested to get those alleged shares. He replied he paid nothing and claims he was gifted shares for introducing another potential investor to Stevati. Sounds shady. I asked him for clarity, to which he gave the same reply. He didn't buy shares. He was awarded them for merely arranging an introduction. Either Stevati is breaking securities laws or this investor doesn't actually own any shares and Stevati lied to him. And again, this is from researcher John Christian Spadavecchia. The alleged investor then told me that he and another Stevati shareholder have had discussions with Gavin Newsom regarding purchasing some of Stevati's firefighting aircraft, which they don't currently have, to the best of my knowledge, at least not finished flying, working aircraft, and purchasing their green firefighting foam. He claimed that Stevati had their property in Niagara Falls appraised at approximately $35 million for the purposes of obtaining a reverse mortgage or other lien on the property so that they could get cash back to pay the $1 million they owed Dimitrov. That's the person who sued them for investment fraud. The alleged investor then told me that the $35 million valuation is 20 times more than what they originally paid for the property in 2020, making the original purchase price about $2 million. The $2 million most likely came from David Wilcock. The investor claimed Stevati hasn't had any luck getting a reverse mortgage or lien on their property. Apparently, creditors are bailing on them. So the problems for this shady aerospace company, and he keeps mentioning this Chris Beskar, they're involved in a lot of shady things. It just keeps getting worse and worse for David Wilcock and this shady aerospace company. But here he is pitching his followers that they're going to build hover cars somehow.
Because again, the main message came out in 1998, and what he says is, Archangel Michael says is, first you're going to see the exposure of the cabal, then you're going to see the arrest of the cabal, then you get the galactic family reunion.
And by the way, in 1998, when he put some of this stuff on his website, he never said it was coming from the Archangel Michael. This is a retcon.
It's like a formula. So I don't think anybody has any idea how heavy our future really is, the bigness of what's coming our way and where this is taking us. Michael is literally saying that we are going to have human ETs appearing in person. There's going to be mass UFO sightings, and this will be personal. You will have direct interaction with these beings on a one-to-one basis. And I have to say that just hearing from a higher intelligence when it speaks so
there you go, Anthony Peterson. There's going to be laws surrounding this that he's not even thinking of.
The process of reading the books creates a vibrational change. And the Law of One was only 4 books originally and then 5.
He says the process of reading his books creates a vibrational change in you.
With book 5, when they
I
had
read the
Spectral-
first one, and all I felt was sick to my stomach that he was ripping people off for the drivel in the first book. It's literally like nonsensical, rambling drivel from somebody that I would assume was a mental patient if I didn't know David Wilcock wrote it.
extras they added together. So
And by the way, that's my personal opinion, having read the first book, and I'm entitled to that.
this is 7. It's incredible. And again, if you order this, you only have to
What are we on? 20 minutes of a pitch, buy my crap? He's 20 minutes into a buy my crap pitch.
do it once, but then you'll be able to read the books for the rest of your life. They'll be treasured family heirlooms. And
If you buy his books, and by the way, they're PDFs, they're going to be treasured family heirlooms. I'm going to say that again. David Wilcock says if you buy his books, they're going to be treasured family heirlooms. They're PDF files. Does anybody have any treasured family PDF files? Because I don't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? It's so ridiculous. What a pitch.
all this stuff is coming to a head
But wait,
very,
there's
very
more.
soon, within weeks.
Within weeks, all this stuff is going to happen. We're going to have mass UFO sightings. We're going to be meeting ETs. It'll be a very personal experience, all within the coming weeks. And by the way, this is a week ago already, so he's down to like a week and a few days. All this stuff has to happen, or he's full of shit again. What do I think is going to happen? Nothing. And he's going to be full of shit again.
So you might have a lot of free time on your hands, and you might want to have 7 books that you could read at that point. So again, what I've done is I combined it all together, Sacred Science, and then there's going to be also the Spirit of the Michael Prophecies, which again, I go through all the 7 books so you don't miss anything. And the 7 books are included all at the same rate of what I used to do for one of these, which was
Yeah.
333.
Think of how dumb
Now, the reason I love
people
this
are.
so much
Half
is
of
that
them are
my
even
old
dumber
business
than
model,
that.
you had to
George
give me
Carlin,
something,
Mr. Johansson.
and then you had to wait for me to perform. You're essentially advancing me against something I'm going to do. So I say, oh, I'm going to do this event, and every
Yeah, this
Sunday
is
you're
a
going to watch
desperate
this
pitch.
show.
This is a
But I want your
desperate.
money
This
now.
is his
Well, now-
most
now I'm
desperate
saying, wait a
pitch
minute, I
ever.
already got 7 books, 10.5 hours of great video with 7 camera angles in the can.
Oh, there's 7
Right
camera
now,
angles.
Which is
So
very
worth the
different. That means it's instant gratification. As
$333.
soon as you spend the money, as long as you can figure out what we tell you to do and click on the link, you're right in there and you can get started.
As soon as you spend the money.
I would ask you, even if you've been watching this whole thing and you're like, F, David, I'm not going to do it. Other people are going to do it, but not me. Please don't be that person. I would really love to not have my ex-wife and me both be in this crippling $1 million debt. It's been very unhappy.
Yeah. So again, he wants his followers to pay for his financial failures. You don't learn anything if you fail and there's no consequences. He wants his followers to bail him out.
And all you have to do is help us a little bit, and then everything's okay. So hopefully
A little bit. $333 is more than many people's take-home paycheck for the week. You want a whole week's pay from many people. And the economy is terrible right now. You think he would give some kind of discount or something? I mean, the economy is in a shitter. Everybody's struggling, but he wants people to come up with $333 so he can get out of his bad financial decisions of the past and pay back his tax debts and whatever debts he has. And I guess he's going to have to pay that sprinkler company $100,000. That's a lot of stupid people are going to have to pay this $333 just to get out of the $106,000 he owes the sprinkler company, him and his fake hover car company.
that's what's going to happen. I hope that you will take the plunge with us. Now, as far as when am I going to do the second half of the videos and go through the 7 books? Well, that's going to happen in 2 stages. The first stage is that in the upcoming week or so, I'm going to be announcing a 3-part free course because there's
Oh, he's going to do a free course. All you have to do is give him your email address so he can beg. By the way, he does this. He puts out a free course. And in order to get into the free course, you got to give him your email address. And then he sends you like 8 emails a day, or I don't remember how many it was, but it was a lot. I signed up for one of the free courses, and he just sends marketing begging you for money emails all day long. Multiple begging emails a day. So if you want like spam from David Wilcock, sign up. And here he's going to talk
a
about
lot of
that.
stuff I don't want to talk about online at all. So even if you're not interested in purchasing the Michael Prophecies, what I am going to do is I'm going to run something through the website, which is thedisclosure.com. And you also got to type HTTPS://
Yeah, and by the way, he never disclosed anything except crap from the internet that he cobbled together.
SSI connection, right? So what I would say is, the next time I do a video, I'm going to announce these 3 free live webinars. And the 3 free live webinars will be accessible only through my website, but we need you to go in there and give us your email address so that you can access this. So I will have that offer for you. I'll probably do another video again later this week because things are so crazy, I don't feel comfortable waiting all week. I don't want to be offline. 2 years of not doing any videos has been excruciating.
It's been excruciating for him to not make videos.
So I want to be thoroughly back in the...
And he, I love too, we talked about it on the last show, he's in all this financial, he's $1.4 million in debt, and he talks about buying an expensive new camera so that he could have 7 camera angles instead of 6. Maybe if you're having financial problems, you don't buy expensive gear and equipment. You pay your bills.
In the game, I don't want to be a bench sitter anymore. And again, if you order this product, it could be pretty quick that my financial problems are solved.
If you order this product, my financial problems will be solved pretty quick. Is it just me, or is it incredibly slimy to make it? If you've got a huge following, isn't it slimy to like cry that you have financial problems and everybody's got to give you money, to get out of your problems? Why should thousands of people on the internet pay you money for your financial failures? You screwed up, dude. You should have some consequences for your mistakes so that you learn from them.
I make more money than the money I owe in taxes. It's all going back to things like gravel, concrete repair, pipes, electrical, heating and cooling, you name it. I mean, that's where the money's going, folks.
The money's going for him to prop up this fake aerospace company and let them pretend that they're a real company.
To make sure that you're going to get a hover car.
Allegedly.
So thank you for listening to this.
The money's going to make sure that you're going to get a hover car. He promised a working prototype more than 2 years ago. Where the hell are the hover cars? Just give him more money. He promised that he was going to use the money from the last $333, $2 million plus injection of cash that he got, that he was going to use that to build hover cars. Now he needs more money to build the hover cars again.
And I do want to go into our meditation before we're done. So let's
global peace
grab
meditation.
a hold of that opportunity while we still have a chance. Actually, let me look at your comments real quick first as well.
Oh, this is great. He's going to take comments and people are like, you're full of shit.
How about this? Everyone who thinks this is BS, wait a month. If nothing happens, don't buy the books. And if something does happen, run out and buy the books. Well, look, things are happening. My God.
Things are happening. That's very good. He said all this stuff. You're going to meet the aliens. There's going to be mass UFO sightings. He said all this was going to happen in the next 2 weeks. So that's probably good logic. Wait 2 weeks to buy the books. And if the aliens come, then buy the books. But if the aliens don't come, don't buy the books. He is really screwing up giving an actual timeline for when all of this fantastic stuff like meeting the aliens is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. What's he going to say when nothing happens?
Kevin McCarthy just got ousted as the House Speaker. Everybody has cut off the money to Ukraine. What do you think is going to happen?
No, they're still going to give money to Ukraine. They're going to figure out a way to do it.
Happen when we find out what was going on there. It's probably not going to be good. And apparently we've already heard what we're going to learn. So,
well, if we've already heard what we're going to learn, why do we need his books? If the aliens are coming in the next 2 weeks, why do we have to give him $333? Can't we just wait 2 weeks and meet the aliens?
Honestly, like, if you don't think anything is going on, if you don't think there's an intelligent organization behind why you're learning all this stuff about the deep state, they never wanted you to know anything. They don't want you to know anything at all about them.
Yeah, but coming to somebody who's been wrong about everything for 20 plus years. Oh, by the way, he pushed the Q grift for 5 years, right? None of all that was nonsense.
All they want you to do is follow your orders and shut the F up. They do not want you to know what they're into, and they are losing constantly. So, like, yeah, okay. If you don't want to believe that this is what's happening, there are going to be those people who are in denial right up until the moment that something crazy starts happening. We just had the emergency broadcast system the other day. I believe, honestly, that people tune it out. They say, I just don't want to pay any attention to it, so I'm not going to listen to bad stuff, and I'm not going to listen to good stuff. F the whole thing. I'm using the wrong fingers right now. F the whole thing. I'm out of here. I'm not paying any attention to any of this stuff anymore. I'm just going to go live my own life. If you do that, then you're allowing them to do the punitive actions because you're not involved in the game.
There's going to be consequences if you don't buy my shit.
You've abandoned your own command post and you're letting others now do whatever the heck they want. Let me read some more stuff. Some of the stuff he speaks of is real, but he is a BS artist. Well, if you really think
somebody in his live chat called him a BS artist and he read it,
that, then why have you been staying here for 2 hours?
Some people think it's entertaining to listen to you lie to people for 2 hours.
Honestly, if you are one of those people, how many do we have right now? We got 2,615 viewers live right now.
I wonder how many. He claims he has 2,600 live viewers. I wonder how many of those are bots. Remember, he got caught using porn bots before. There was a time when his live chat all turned into like porn bots that were like, you know, hot sex for you was all the usernames.
Views so far. If you're one of those people, okay. You know, I don't know what else to say. It takes a lot of time and a lot of study, but I would ask you, if this matters to you, take the challenge.
Yeah, he's sweating.
See the
he's
course,
sweating. He's getting hammered in his live chat for the whole thing.
Very intense video already available. Go ahead and check it out. If you don't like it, that's fine. Okay, let's see some other stuff here.
Pit stains.
Thank you so much for restarting your course. I just graduated from my master's degree. I'm so happy I can begin learning things that actually matter in my ascension journey. We'd love to hear more about
his ascension journey.
Yes, I'm buying the books and anything else. I want to invest in our global future. Thank you for what you do. That's LRB Mystic. Thank you. I mean, honestly, like the deep state is cracking down so much with the censorship that it's very.
He's being censored because his information from his angels are so important. Right?
Very difficult to get the same numbers you did before. This.
Oh, now he's blaming the deep state for his piss poor shit numbers. Hey, dude, maybe people are watching me and realizing that you lied constantly, that you've been wrong on all your predictions, that you pushed the Q grift, that you have been claiming there's going to be mass arrests any day now for years and years and years and years and years. Maybe people are just waking up that you're just a full crap huckster. And your information is garbage.
I mean, people like
blame the deep state.
Trying to do the kind of stuff that I'm doing. It's a full scale war.
Oh, they're at
it's
war.
All being kept so quiet. You know, it's like nobody ever really even acknowledges what's going on. So I will keep fighting for you, whether you realize that I'm fighting for you or not, and whether you understand that my tears and my pain and 2 years of having carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh my God, he suffered so much
that I can't pay. Why did I do that? I don't care about the money. I care about our safety. And that's why I didn't go and try to make a bunch of money and sell hats and sell.
But now he's trying to make a bunch of money. Now he's going to rag on anybody that sells merchandise. Dude, I have a merchandise store. People like swag. And we get a couple bucks a month, right? We get a little bit of money every month. And maybe it'll pay for one of our show bills or whatever. Why are you going to rag on people that sell merchandise, right? Besides, what kind of merchandise is David Wilcock going to sell? Strap-ons? I mean, what would he sell?
Sell mugs and T-shirts or any of that kind of shit. I don't have any merch at all.
I got plenty of merch. Buy my merch.
One piece of art for 2 years, which I'm now selling. And if that makes you angry, don't buy it.
He calls it art. I thought it was prophetic channelings from the Archangel Michael. Now he's calling it art. It's art. And thank you, Wreaking Havoc, for your kindness, generosity, and support. Longtime show supporter. And thanks for being a member who says, I bet Wilcock owns a few pairs of stockings. I think he does. I think he does. I think he definitely does.
But don't get mad at me because I actually create something that some people want. Okay? I'm not.
Stupid people want your products, David Wilcock. There, I said it. Only stupid people would buy prophetic predictions from a man who's made so many wrong prophetic predictions in the past. Only stupid people would do that.
At it myself, in a sense, because I had to take 2 years away from you. And I'm really, really sorry, and I hope you can forgive me. I
Oh
genuinely.
yeah, let's all forgive David Wilcock because we missed him so much while he was writing books in his multi-million-dollar mansion and suffering through carpal tunnel syndrome and $1.4 million that he went in debt so that he could save Earth with his prophetic nonsense books.
Genuinely am apologizing to you about being whatever you want to call it, you know, attention strangulation, deadbeat dad. I ignored you. I walked off. If you knew how hard people are fighting me and how much they want to kill me, and
people want to kill him,
to which I've been threatened with death,
he's been threatened with death, and lawsuits, and character assassination. Oh my goodness!
I cannot tell the truth. I cannot begin to tell the truth.
By the way, I hope he's not claiming that what we do here is defamation. This is called commentary, and just let's make sure that we make one thing clear. The purpose of my video all my videos about David Wilcock is not to defame or slander or harass or damage anybody's reputation. It is simply to raise awareness of this man's track record and his shady history of shady business dealings. Remember, before he started a charity and wanted everybody to give money to his charity so that he could do all these great things. What did he do with the money? Shouldn't he have to explain that before he's on to the next grift asking for $333 from everybody to pay his debts? I think so. So just to be clear, yeah, I don't harbor the man any ill will. I wish that he would, you know, do something more valuable with his time other than sell people garbage, fake information that he claims comes from angels. And by the way, things did get a little personal because now he's involving my religion in his grifts. And I have a problem with that. And I also have a proper biblical understanding of the test of a prophet, which proves conclusively that David Wilcock is not communicating with the angelic or divine sources. And if I had to venture a guess, if he is communicating with any non-human entities, they are demonic in nature because they are giving him fake information, wrong information. It's already been verified that there is incorrect, wrong information in his first book. Therefore, he's not communicating with the angelic beings. And I, as a Christian, take personal offense to him involving the Archangel Michael or lying that he is communicating. In my opinion, he is lying that he is communicating with the Archangel Michael. So I don't know who he's talking about is, people are threatening to kill him. And, this is the same guy that said there was like threats against his life when he talked to Contact in the desert and there was all these extra police. And we checked. There was nothing. He lied about all of that.
Truth. Of
He's
the
a
things
drama
that actually
queen.
happened. It's much too dark and it would get me probably sued. So the point is, this has not been a happy life. It's very much like Bilbo Baggins fighting against whatever dark forces are out there.
Now he's a hero.
The ring bearer.
He's a hero. He's the ring bearer, and he's fighting against the dark forces.
The last, tell us of the bald-headed witch, Karen Dalphin says. Okay.
Exactly. He can't even go to a spring or a flower shop without being attacked.
The woman I saw was beautiful. She wasn't bald. She was kind of witchy, though. I'll give you that. Woo! All right. Well, let's just do a meditation, huh? Because again, whether buying my products will save my life.
Yeah, listen to this.
Serious trouble. I mean, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Talk about guilting his followers. This should be illegal. If you buy my products, you'll be saving my life.
I get asset seizure, and I really don't want that to happen. I mean, up until now, I've gotten lucky. Maybe just because everybody else is in the same boat. But this is crazy. Okay, I do not want to stay this way. And then I'm like, well, oh my God, I walked off on my audience. What the F am I doing? What the F am I doing not talking to people for 2 years who really want to hear from me?
Everybody really wants to hear from him.
Would love to hear what I have to say. Well, that's why I'm back. It's like, yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, this could cost me my life or cost me my house or cost me my living. I mean, I'm already essentially destroyed.
He's destroyed. And the only thing that will make him whole again is if you give him $333. What a pitch, man. And if you give him $333, you'll be saving his life.
How many people are $1.4 million in debt? I don't know. Not very many.
I think a lot of people who have a lot of money can get that far into debt.
Where you actually owe it and you have to pay it and you're going to go to jail if you don't?
It must
where
be.
I'm at, man.
Listen, you hear
So,
what he just said, where you actually owe it and you actually have to pay it, or you're going to go to jail. It must be $1.4 million in tax debt, because the only debt that you will ever find that you really have an honest to God chance of going to jail over is tax debt. The IRS doesn't play; they get their money, and if you don't pay them, yeah, they put you in prison for income tax evasion. So it would be a good guess to say, since I'm aware, I worked in commercial credit, that the only debt that you will risk going to prison over are not private debts. You know, like that sprinkler company suing them. You won't go to jail over that. You'll get a lien against your property maybe, but you won't go to jail. The only debts that you could end up in actual prison over are tax debts. So I guess, take from this what you will, it might be a safe assumption that his $1.4 million in debt that he's talking about is tax debts. And ask yourself this: how long do you have to just not pay your taxes to rack up $1.4 million in tax debt? And why should his followers have to pay that for him? Shouldn't he have paid that out of the money he was earning that he didn't pay the taxes on?
It's fascinating, and I thank you again, because I believe that we've done enough. We've had a good communication. You're going to step up and help me out. And as you do that, then guess what? Magically, I now can be right back here because my life has been healed. I can do videos.
You're going to heal his life. Oh, God. Do you want to see me make more videos? I'm going to need $1.4 million.
A lot more often. That's what I want to do. I don't want this to be like David popped up and then he disappears again. And I don't want people to keep accusing me of making money. If I make money off of aerospace, this might be the last time I sell something.
Yeah, right. And what are the odds he's going to make money off of aerospace with a company that is, according to court documents, a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam?
Probably the only exception to that would be, as we've talked about, that I might do a paid subscriber network, just because all my stuff,
because others have done that.
Put it on another platform. So we might do like a minimal subscriber fee thing. But
I agree 100%, Troll. And thanks for being a member.
And
it is offensive.
I own a lot of great content. I could do it, but
how dare he? The Lord of the Rings is so dope, says Chris G.
I don't need to keep getting money from you. Like in the future, if I'm already doing well because I have this aerospace company, my goal is really to try to keep everything either free or at a very low cost. And again, the archive of stuff I did before has to stay at a very low cost. But again, my main goal is to try to pump out as much free content as possible. In today's world, with piracy and the economy being so bad, it's hard to monetize this type of thing. Even though it's much better than the competition. You know, the shots look great. We shot it over here. So
now he's going to tell you how great the cinematography is. Yes,
blurry in the background, everything. I don't need to talk about it anymore. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. So let's now dive into our global meditation. We'll finish in a little over 2 hours. Somebody said, I thought the IRS died. Take care, David. You are very loved. Thank you for your work. Sending you much love from California. Glad to see you more often. You are the best. I would donate more if I could. I know everybody's struggling. And again, I really thank you guys for participating. So,
notice he didn't thank anybody for the super chats. How much did he get in super chats? If anybody is bored, go through his live chat and add up how much he got in super chats. He didn't thank one super chatter, not one. He didn't even in general give a general, oh, thanks for the super chats, guys. Right? As he's begging for money, he begged for money for like a good 20 or 30 minutes here of a 2 hour and 20-minute stream.
Use these angles as much. This is camera 5, camera 3. So let's.
You know what? I got an idea. Well, let's see. Do we really want to go? I'm not going to go.
Meditate on 5 and 3. How does that sound? All right. Okay. So I'd like you to close your eyes.
I'm not closing my eyes.
Both feet flat on the floor.
If you close your eyes, he might steal your wallet while your eyes are closed and take your money.
I'll do the same thing with you right now.
This is so stupid.
Take a nice deep breath.
Oh, and what great, he does this global peace meditation. Does anybody see any more peace in the world since he did this meditation? No, we saw more war. and destruction and murder. So he must be a terrible peace meditator.
Imagine yourself going deeper and deeper into a state of pure relaxation.
Oh my God, this is so stupid.
All those old pains just shaking loose one by one.
Yeah, give me your money. Oh,
Going deeper
give me
into
your
the
money.
stillness that is within.
Oh, give me your money.
And finding the joy available
send me your money. Send me your money.
as you awaken to this ocean of peace.
An ocean of peace. Give me money.
Breathing deeply.
Save my life.
Going deeper.
Give me money.
Into a place of stillness.
Oh, we're going deeper already.
To a place.
He needs money. All right, look, it just gets wooer after this, so I think we're done. And but congratulations, if you've been here for part 1 and part 2, that means we made it through another ridiculous David Wilcock live stream of nonsense. And I, for one, you know, every time I make it through one, I kind of say to myself, I'm not going to do this again, but we probably will. I just can't help it. I want to see what happens next. Let me know what you think in the live chat. Is David Wilcock going to go to debtor's prison? I think that the economy is, here's my prediction. He might make $500,000, but I don't think he's going to make $2 million on this new course, because people are starting to wise up that all of his courses are full of nonsense and they're not valuable information. I mean, how valuable does the information have to be worth $333, especially in today's economy, right? Especially in today's economy. Paul Shield says, I think I will never watch a David Wilcock video. You say that now, right? Bottled Water says, thanks for being a member. I am saying it now. David Wilcock caused the war in Israel, allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. And we want to take a moment to thank our kind and generous benefactors tonight. That would be Estimate of the Situation, 50,000 Bees. We thank UFO Shane for becoming a member, a new member. We thank Reek Havoc, who's been a member for 3 months now, and for a kind and generous $5 super chat as well. We thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'm going to take some comments and questions from the live chat, but I got an idea. And I want to know how everybody in the live chat feels about this. If this works for David Wilcock, I'm going to stop paying all my bills. I'm just going to stop paying all my bills, but I'm not going to let it ring up to $1.4 million. I'm just going to let it go for like 2 or 3 years until I have amassed a massive debt to all my creditors or whoever for like $100,000. And then I'm going to make a course and beg you all to pay my bills, that I didn't pay. But the good news is, for the next couple of years, I'm going to have lots of extra money, because I'm just going to stop paying the IRS and anybody I owe money to, because you guys will pay my bills for me. That's essentially David Wilcock's plan. For the past couple of years, he hasn't paid bills, apparently, and now he just expects everybody to pay the bills for him, which would mean that he made huge financial mistakes. And if this works for him, God bless him. But that would mean that he has not learned anything from his mistakes. And I don't think that's the way the world works, or should work anyway. Review David's CD, Wanderer Awakening. It's inspirational. Yeah. Yeah. John says, great idea. Yeah, man, I'm gonna be able to spend $4,000 on meals and entertainment, right? Imagine how many times you got to go out to dinner to spend $4,000. Like, where is he going to spend that much in a year? $4,000 on meals and entertainment. Yeah, John. So my plan is to be a grifter. Yeah, maybe we'll start our own grift. It's definitely a moneymaker, right? Sandra says, I already tipped water up my nose laughing at him. I ain't costing me anything. Yes. He thinks his followers are suckers and he has no respect for them, says Sacha N. I agree with you 100%. 100% I agree with you. This man has no respect for his audience. If he did, he wouldn't keep lying to them. And he would address these controversies concerning his phony aerospace company. I mean, they literally got called an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme in a court case they lost by default judgment. I would think that he's got to address those controversies before he starts asking people for money. And why would you give a guy who's involved in an aerospace company that has been called an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme any of your money? Why would you do that? This makes no sense. That's Bottled Water says Sacha N is correct. Yeah, Troll says, I don't spend $1,000 a year going out to dinner in a year. Us either. You know, my wife and I, one of the reasons we get along so well is because we're both fairly thrifty. And I'm not saying that like that it's a bad thing to be thrifty. I think it's a good thing to be thrifty and to live beneath your means. So in my family, we went out to dinner twice in the past year. And those were like for a special occasion or something. And we got takeout probably about twice. So 4 times out of 365 days, we didn't make dinner. And I think that's a reasonable thing. Now, I might be wrong. We may like buy Burger King lunch for our kids a couple of times too throughout the year. And that's just, you know, that's not a huge expense, Burger King a few times. And when we went out to dinner, it was like to a local restaurant at the Cabin once. And or maybe 2 local restaurants at the Cabin. I don't know. We went out to dinner twice in a whole entire year. That's a reasonable level of extravagance for me and for my wife. We would rather put that money into other things for our family that we, you know, for a future, save the money, whatever. The fact that he spent $4,000 on meals and entertainment, and remember, he took that money out of money that people gave him to do charitable works with. He spent $4,000 out of money that people gave him for his charity on meals and entertainment. It's amazing. Patty Wilhelm says the IRS is only interested in the big cheaters. Yeah. And Billy Hicks says, I feel bad for the naive and gullible, but for as long as he's been grifting with such ridiculous past and future claims that never pan out, it's hard to believe people still fork out $333 still. Archaic Revival reminding everybody we only got 69 likes and there's 110 of you. So make sure you smash that like button. It really, really does help. John says we've been doing that for years and the kids are still alive. Yes. John C. Spadavecchia is here. Had a chance to avoid default entries. They chose not to respond to court summons for 5 months. They ignored a court of law for 5 months. Then they got default judgments against them. Yeah, like does Wilcock even allow people to donate or buy something for less than $333? It seems like he does it. Well, he takes super chats, and those are less than $333. So he takes those. He charitably spent it on himself. Yeah. Whoa, there we go. Wilcock had a charity fund. Yes, and we covered it extensively here. He spent all the money on himself, most of it. I can't recall, but over a course of 2 years, I think he collected somewhere between $50 and $100 and something $1,000. And he spent all the money on himself. Mostly, he gave a few $1,000s to other charities. 50,000 Bees says, how about a show on some real ET materials coming to Earth? Like the Osiris Rex mission. Not as controversial, but might be a good balance to some of this grift. Yeah, I'll put on my list 50,000 Bees, and thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to make sure we thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Here's one for 50,000 bees and for all the super chatters tonight, as well as all you Patreon supporters and all you YouTube channel members, as well as you Twitch subscribers and you people throwing me gold pills on pill.net. We thank all of you for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you very much. Lunar Sparkles is here. Welcome, and says several close calls on the road, but made it back without incident. Well, I'm glad that you're home and safe. If you are indeed home and safe, good to hear that. Billy Hicks says, well, super chats. I'm sorry. Well, super chats don't really count in my book. Laugh out loud. It just seems like whatever he sells is always $333. Yeah, it's some kind of numerology thing. I believe that's supposed to be an angelic number. Archaic Revival says, I've decided I'm going to bring the world's stronger, faster hover car turbo. Just need all your money first, but it'll be worth it, bro. Yeah, trust Archaic Revival, bro, and thanks for being a member. Another day in Bohemia, says Lunar Sparkles. Another day in paradise, huh? That's crazy. I never heard that. Never heard of that. Oh, and we thank Anthony Peterson for a kind and generous $2 super sticker. Thank you for helping us to praise the cash. Thanks for your kindness, generosity, and support. Thanks for appreciating us. And we appreciate you, Anthony Peterson, longtime show supporter. Thank you. $333 is the angel number. Yeah, and Armory says 666. 666 if you sign up with your twin flame. Yeah, it's the amount of money that he charges for his nonsense is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, Anthony Peterson. Thanks to all you kind and generous super chatters. Yeah, we've had a great month, and I want to thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It means a lot to me that there's so many people that want to see the journey continue here. And just so everybody's aware, the reason that we don't have to sell out and we can actually be honest with people and not just lie to people to make money is because of the kindness, generosity, and support of you kind and generous audience members. Archaic Revival says, the CIA or the aliens made me a member. 100% true. Sounds likely. Sounds likely. Billy Hicks says he needs to take riff lessons from Elon Musk. The dude's way better at selling sci-fi fairy tales. Yeah, you know, I don't have any problem with Elon Musk. I think he did a lot of great work on rockets. Remember, I grew up building model rockets, so I'm kind of a rocket fan. But the thing with the cars really bothers me because if people think that electric cars are going to save the environment, they're going to make the environment worse. And that would be because the more electric cars there are, the more people plugging into the grid, charging their vehicles, means that we're going to need more coal-fired power plants. That's what our grid is powered by. So if everybody switched to an electric car tomorrow, we'd need hundreds, perhaps thousands more coal-fired power plants, and that would create more pollution than everybody being on gasoline-powered cars. So, and also the environmental damage done by all the lithium mining is go look into it. And besides that, lithium mines often employ slave labor. So if you buy an electric car, you may be supporting that. Now, I'm sure, just like Apple claims, oh, no, we do it ethically. And by the way, I haven't looked into that, so I'm just talking off the top of my head. But like the electric car thing is very problematic. Unless they give you an electric car and then they give you like a carport that you put in your driveway, that you set it up and it has solar panels on top and you plug your car in that way, that would help the environment, but they don't do that. You just plug it into your house and your house is being most likely everyone within the sound of my voice, if you're in the United States, your house is being powered by a coal-fired power plant. Unless you live near a nuclear power plant, maybe, or hydroelectric, whatever. But most of the power plants in the United States are coal-fired, which is terrible for the environment. So I think they have to do more to make the energy source of the vehicle clean and make the mining of the rare elements you need to make the electric vehicles, like lithium for the batteries, more ethical, or you're not really doing any good. Electric cars also burn out local transformers faster because the amount of current draw reduces the lifespan by 70%, and there is a shortage of transformers. Yeah, so it's going to damage our electrical grid, not help it. R. Moore says David is here now watching. Yeah, and if he is, look, David Wilcock, you got to address this Stavati scammy stuff. You got to say something about all of that. Are you just going to ignore that? Because I'm going to keep talking about it, and more people are going to hear about that company and how you guys were sued for running an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme and lost, and how the creditors are now suing you for unpaid bills. I'm going to keep talking about it. I don't know if that's true, but B. Baker, thanks for being a member, says Musk only made money on Tesla because of public money or tax dollars. Yeah, it could be. I mean, he gets a lot of subsidies, right? It's the same with solar. Any more than a household of two, then it's useless. Well, I don't know about that, because I think you could have a solar system that powers your whole house, but it's incredibly expensive. And the same thing goes mining those elements for the battery systems. You got to have a battery backup, and it's very, very, it's like hard to beat the current system. If I had my way, I'm working on something at my cabin this winter. I'm going to make a wood-fired 12-volt generator. It's basically going to be a wood stove with these transducers on top of it, and you burn the wood burner, and it makes 12 volt. I'm going to work on that this winter, because I'm in the woods where my cabin is, and there's an unlimited supply of firewood. You just got to drag it out of the woods and chop it up. That's something that most people would never think to do. Power your home from a burner. What about the summer? It'll be outside, so it won't make the inside hot. You can move it. You can put it inside or outside. So in the warmer months, you put it outside, and you just run a cable into your battery system. And in the winter months, you can put it inside, so you'll be heating your home and generating the power for your lights, your laptop, your computers, whatever you're running, your small appliances. The thing with solar is, for a small system, it works very well. But, like my situation at the cabin, I caved and we got the on-grid power. Number one, because it was available. Number two, because I need power tools to build the cabin. It makes things a lot easier. And I'm finding that out at the other place that has no power. I try to do things over there with hand tools. I already gave up on being Amish. But for a small system, just enough for lights and laptops, it's not very expensive. You need a couple of batteries and a couple of solar panels and some support electronics, and it works very well. The problem for us came in, my wife wants a microwave and an air conditioner and hair dryers and air fryers and toaster ovens, and those are very high current. A little solar system won't support that. So to have a full solar system for a big house is incredibly expensive, like $20,000, $30,000. So essentially all you're really doing is you're trading your electric bill in. Okay, you won't have an electric bill for a while, but it's like, it's difficult to beat the system. A lot of people that I know kind of, I'm going to live off grid and beat the system. Good luck with that. You can do it, but you have to be willing to make sacrifices. Like at the new cabin, I will never have toaster ovens and, huge TVs or a big refrigerator or anything. You have to limit your consumption of electricity in order to make a solar system work for you, a small system anyway. Are you aware that coal is the major part in making solar panels? Kind of counterproductive, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I guess you're right. I drive an electric car, and they definitely have issues that the general public wouldn't want to deal with. Yeah, I've been waiting, MK Ultra. I'd really like one, but I'm going to have a solar power system to solar power my vehicle usage. I would not want one that I just plug into my house, because then what's the difference between paying, $100 a month in gas or paying $100 extra a month in electricity to power your vehicle? It's like it's like half a dozen of one, six of the other. It's the same difference. There is no benefit then. Lots of people in Australia have remote work areas use Starlink, right? Oh, Archaic Revival is asking, how's my neck and back? It's a little better today. And by the way, thank you to everybody, because my wife gave me this pack that could be a hot pack or a cold pack. Either heat it up or you put it in the freezer. So last night after the show, I put it in the freezer for a few hours, and I went to bed with that on. And I really do think that the cold helped much, much more. I could see a remarkable difference today versus yesterday. When I was just putting a hot pack on, it didn't do anything. I'm hopeful a couple more days. The stiffness is kind of going away, but I'm still, that when you injure your neck or back like that you're like, I'm like hesitant to move my head too much. I feel like Batman in the Michael Keaton movies. Did you know that in the Michael Keaton movies, the suit was so stiff he couldn't move his neck. He had to move his whole body to look at things. And that's how I feel today. But I'm feeling a little better. I'm going to take some ibuprofen and put the cold pack on again. It's in the freezer right now waiting for me to go to sleep tonight. And interestingly, when I did the hot pack, it was kind of hard to tolerate. Maybe I heated it up too much. It was kind of hard to keep it on my neck. But the cold pack, it felt fine, and it was soothing, and it made me feel a little better. So there's got to be something to that ice pack on a sore muscles, helps better. But I've read that you're supposed to do the cold pack for a couple of days and then do the hot pack, and that somehow relaxes the muscles. The hot pack relaxes the muscles, and the cold pack reduces inflammation. So you do the reduction of inflammation first, and then a hot pack to soothe the muscles, the sore muscles. And by the way, I still don't know what I did. The only thing I could think is that I did bend over like 1,000 times on Sunday picking up these shingles. My great friend at the cabin, Matt, had to do a roof. And Sunday, he's doing the roof on Monday, and I wasn't going to be there. But on Sunday, they were just ripping the shingles off. And I went around picking up all the shingles off the ground. They got most of them in the dumpster, which was on the side of the house. But, a lot of them fell down all around the house. So I did that job. I just went around picking up all the shingles, and I bent over like thousands of times. And I remember being a little sore after that, but I don't know what happened. I thought maybe I slept. You ever do that? And that's how you know you're getting old. When you can injure yourself sleeping, you're getting old. Sometimes I just sleep weird, like my neck's turned a certain way or something, and the pillow's weird or whatever, and you wake up with a stiff neck. This is the stiffest neck I've ever had. It's been like this since Sunday. But I'm hopeful that it's been... Randy, I'm hopeful that it's going away. Randy, 1979, where did the 3 days of darkness come from? Yeah, I think there's various references to that in Conspiracy Land, but I don't know. Billy Hicks is not a fan of Tesla, says, I'm calling BS on those space rockets landing backwards on a moving and swaying ship in the ocean. It's ridiculous, and the camera always cuts out before it lands. I don't know. I talked to somebody that worked on that who claimed that's completely what, they worked on it for years. So who knows? Get a massage from a licensed therapist. It will make you feel like $1 million, says Trolly Troll Troll. Well, maybe I can talk my wife into that. I feel uncomfortable doing that being a married man. In fact, the only massage that I've ever had, me and my wife were on vacation in the Bahamas, I think it was the Bahamas, yeah. And we got up early, like 9 o'clock in the morning, and our flight was not until I think 1 p.m. or something like that. And this is back a long time ago before you had to be at the airport 3 hours early. You just had to be there an hour early. So we got up and we were like, and my wife was like, do you want to do a couples massage? And I said, I guess, and we laid there together and got a massage. And that was the best flight I've ever taken because I got this massage and I just felt fantastic and loose and relaxed. And then we got on the plane and I fell asleep. It was fantastic. You're right. But I don't believe that I would ever just get a massage without my wife watching just to prevent problems. Like, you don't want to like it too much or get some hot chick and your wife doesn't like that, like some hot chick rubbing on you. I think just to prevent problems, I wouldn't. I was in such pain on Monday that I looked into a chiropractor or an orthopedic doctor, but I read some horror stories about going to a chiropractor where they could, crack your neck and make it worse somehow. So I just decided to just wait it out. And so far, that's been a good decision. I think a couple more days, it still feels like I can hear it. Like my neck is crickety. I can hear some kind of cracking or popping when I turn my head. That's not good. And if it doesn't clear up completely in the next few days, I am going to go to at least my, doctor. John says, maybe Sarah Adams could work her magic on you. No, I think I'm going to pass. Ask her to show you a portal. Yeah, doubt she will. SpaceX booster landings on the drone ships are real and camera cutouts are less frequent. I kind of agree. Montauk JL wants a massage from Sarah Adams. Good luck with that. Trolley Troll had a bad experience, right? Billy Hicks says, don't feel bad. I have a pinched nerve and my neck and shoulders suck. I wake up sometimes trying to move my neck and it feels like I got stabbed. But hey, it could be worse. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Every time the chiro snapped my neck, I thought I was going to pass out. It releases all these endorphins. That's weird. Kira, welcome Kira. I am. Says chiropractor saved me on pulled muscle in my neck. Turned out I had 7 vertebrae out. Did the vertebrae go back or do you need somebody to fix them? Did they go back naturally? I don't know anything about this. This is the first big major problem that I have. And I feel like very disappointed in myself because I did work hard that day on Sunday and I hadn't had a day like that of real hard physical labor in a while. Things have been pretty light for me lately. Past while at the cabin and whatever. And when I'm at the cabin, I do 3 or 4 hours. I don't do like a full work day. So, but then again, we only did 3 or 4 hours over there. I don't know what happened. I think it was just bending over all day long. Something got out of whack. So I'm going to be more careful. Don't forget after a flight to go barefoot on some carpet and make fists with your toes. Yeah, it's good advice. Where's that? Die Hard, right? Yeah, you're guessing right. Algaray says, I'm guessing you're not signing up for a medbed treatment. No, I am not. I had a headache for over a week that was gone instantly when the chiropractor did his magic. Maybe I should try that, but I'm going to see if it'll just go away on its own. The first rule of medicine should be do no harm. So if I just I'll keep taking ibuprofen and trying the ice pack for today and tomorrow. If it's still bothering me after the weekend, I am going to go at least to my doctor who will be able to get me he's good with referrals. Like if he can't fix whatever ails you, he sends you to somebody good that can help. So it's really not that bad. Don't feel bad for me, y'all. I can still do everything. Just have to be careful not to do too much at one time. I still work out and lift weights. Oh, that's cool. So Alpin 900 AD says stretch or hit it with a direct energy weapon. Yeah, I'll try to do that. Well, friends, we've done our due diligence for today, but the good news is that we got another live show for you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please be sure to join us again. I will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hope you'll be here with me. I got a fun show planned for tomorrow. It's the last show of the week for us, I believe. And by the way, we were going to do a pre-recorded show this Friday night at 9 p.m., But I'll be driving to the cabin, and I didn't get that done. I've got a lot of editing to do, and Microsoft screwed me. I might have finished it. If I could have spent all my day today working on that video for Friday, I would have got it done. But instead, I fought with Windows for, 5 hours today. And by the way, I'm going to go fight with Windows for probably another 5 hours. But the good news is, I think I have it here. Do I? Yeah. Yeah. I have a Windows installation here that I just got. The other one that I had was old, and I don't know if it's because it was so old or what's going on, or there's some kind of weird boot issue. It didn't see the hard drives, the other boot drive I have. So I'm going to try that. We're going to bounce on out of here, but we'll be back next live show tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Please join us again. I want to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you channel members, you super chatters, super thanks, super sticker people, you Twitch subscribers, gold pillars on pill.net, PayPal pledgers. We thank all of you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. I can't tell you, we had a great month this month, and that's after I got accused of some heinous things or whatever, but it's nice to know that people can't really people will give me the benefit of the doubt, and people won't be able to just destroy my show with nonsense. Things happen, and of course I'm going to make mistakes here, but thankfully we got over that hump, and we're on to bigger and better things. So tomorrow night, hopefully, will be one of those bigger, better things. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here. Hope you'll be here with me. We want to thank our chat room moderators and the man with the golden voice, Mr. Ian. So anyway, friends, that's all I got for you. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.